My name is Nicodemus, and I want to tell you about a single, quiet night that completely changed my life. This story, which you can find in the book Happy Path, is all about a secret meeting I had on the Mount of Olives, a meeting with a man I just knew was someone special. Those were the first words I spoke to him. I was trying to be formal, respectful, to show him that I recognized he wasn't just anybody. I mean, the things he did, the miracles, you couldn't deny them. But honestly, I was also incredibly nervous. I had come under the cover of darkness for a very good reason. You see, I couldn't afford to be seen with him. I was a respected leader, a man with a reputation to protect. To be seen with this controversial carpenter from Nazareth? No way. It was just unthinkable. And yet, the questions he stirred up in my soul were just too loud to ignore. I had to know more. Before that night, I honestly thought I had it all figured out. I mean, I was a good man. I followed every single rule meticulously, right down to the smallest detail, like, washing all the way up to my elbows before I ate. I was devout, I was respected, and I was absolutely sure my spot in heaven was guaranteed. I didn't go to him to learn how to be good. I truly believed I already was. So I went to him with my own agenda, my own carefully prepared questions. But Jesus, he didn't even acknowledge my little introduction. He just smiled, looked right through me with this incredible seriousness, and said something that just shattered my whole world. Born again? The words hit me like a ton of bricks. I was a Jew, a leader. I was the one who said that outsiders, heathens, needed to be born again when they converted to our faith. But me? Was he seriously suggesting that all my years of devotion, all my rule following meant nothing? That I was no better than an outsider myself? My mind it couldn't compute. I took him completely literally. I got defensive. How could a grown man climb back into his mother's womb? It was absurd, and for a second, I thought he was just mocking me. My carefully built world was starting to crack. But he didn't give me a step-by-step lecture. And I'm so glad he didn't, because I'm not sure my brain could have handled it. Instead, he gave me this beautiful, mysterious picture to help me see what he meant. The wind. It was such a simple idea, but it held this profound truth I was only just starting to understand. He just asked me to think about this thing that was all around us, even on that still night. He explained it so perfectly. You can't see the wind itself, right? But you can hear it rustling through the olive trees. You have no idea where it comes from, and you certainly don't know where it's going. It's a complete mystery. The only way you know the wind is there is by its effects. A branch swaying, a cool feeling on your skin, the world changing around you. The work of God's Spirit, he told me, is exactly like that. Nobody sees it happen. No one can draw you a diagram of how it works, but everyone, and I mean everyone, can see the results in a person's life. A kinder word, a gentler touch, a life completely turned around. The picture of the wind was beautiful, but my mind, it was still wrestling. I'm a man of texts and laws, of things you can touch and prove. This unseen, mysterious power, it was still just out of my reach. I had to ask him again, almost pleading, but how? How can this be real? He must have seen the struggle on my face, so he changed his approach. He turned from the world of nature to the world I knew best, the history of my own people. He brought up a story every Jewish child knew by heart, a story from our ancestors' time in the wilderness. He just walked me through it. First, our ancestors sinned, and then bam, they're getting bitten by these deadly serpents. They were dying. The situation was completely hopeless. So what was God's solution? Well, it was strange, wasn't it? He had Moses make a bronze snake and lift it up on a pole. And the final step? The cure? Anyone, no matter how sick, who just looked at that serpent was healed. No complicated ritual, just a look. And that's when he connected the dots, and everything finally clicked for me. He said that just as Moses lifted up that serpent, one day the Son of Man would also be lifted up. And the cure for a dying world would be just as simple, to look at him and believe. And these were the words that finally answered every question I had, the ones I'd asked out loud, and the ones I didn't even have the words for. It was never about my goodness. It was never about my perfect track record. It was about God's love. A love so huge, so powerful, that he would give his own son. I left that mountain a completely different man than the one who had arrived. The entire foundation of my life, which had been built on my own righteousness, was gone. It had been replaced by something totally new, something so much stronger. Think about it. When I first met him, I was hiding, afraid. But just 3 years later, after he was crucified, I was the one who walked out boldly, in the middle of the day, to claim his body for a proper burial. The fearful scholar was gone. He'd been replaced by a public follower. That unseen wind, it had done its work on me. And here it is, the lesson that changed my life forever. Being born again wasn't some complex theological problem I had to solve. It was a simple act of trust. It was looking away from all my own efforts and just looking toward Jesus and believing that he loves me. That's it. That was everything. I learned from the book Happy Path that this incredible power for change has a name: grace. And the book has this wonderful, simple way of thinking about it. Just think of grace as help. It's God's help that makes this new birth, this new life possible. With God helping you, you really can become everything good and noble. My story started in the dark with a question, and it led to a life I never could have imagined. I was so sure I was on the right path, but an encounter with an unseen power set me on a completely new one. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. What unseen wind, what force of love and grace might be ready to change your path tonight?